Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Eric here. Lynch.
Here.
Watson.
Here.
Kish is absent. Before us, 3 sets of minutes from the May 12th meeting, minutes from the April 15th meeting, and April 15th, I'm sorry, the May 15th meeting, and the May 21st meeting. At this time, I will make a motion to approve the May 12th regular meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion on that? No further discussion. Roll call. Urick, yes. Watson?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Okay, you have before you the special meeting on the 15th of May. Any corrections or comments on those? If there are no corrections or comments on that, then I would make a motion to approve the May 15th special meeting minutes as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made in second. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Urick, yes. Watson?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Now you have before you the minutes of the May 21st special meeting. I would point out 2 corrections on that. I've found after the fact, my regrets. Motion 514, last motion on that one, to adjourn should be motion by Lynch, second by Urick, and the roll call on that was all ayes. Those items carried over from a previous set of minutes. Not too happy about that, but everything else appears to be fine on those. So, here, at this time, I would ask if there's any other discussion on these minutes. If there's not, I would make a motion to approve the May 21st, 26 special meeting minutes as presented and corrected.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call. Urick, yes. Watson?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, you should have in your packets the payment listing and the financial reports. Are there any comments on those?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports and payments, the items on the payment listing as specified in the documents provided by the fiscal officer. Second.
Moment. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call. Lynch?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Urick? Yes. Right. You should have in the packet, do we have in the packet the credit card? Have a listing on that?
I didn't see it.
I do not see the listing.
Probably didn't receive the bill yet, David.
Oh, the credit card bill yet? It's not been received. Okay, so we will not be taking action on the credit card, on the credit card bill. It's a report from the fiscal officer who could not make it tonight. Uh, She advised that the 22-23 audit is almost complete and work has begun on the 24-25 audit. She's still holding the Amherst Fire Department warrant from last meeting, waiting for an okay to mail regarding discussion with the fire chief. That's the update on that. That's the rest of her report. So we've had the bills, we've had the financials. At this time, I will reach out and I will welcome all those in attendance. And at this time, if you have any concerns or bring before the board or speak before the board, we invite you at this time, just please step up to the podium where we have a microphone that picks up for our, whatchamacallit. Yes, Carolyn,
Carolyn, I need you to come up here.
I don't have any comment. I just want to know what's going on.
Okay.
oh, give her a microphone.
Thank you. As I said, my name is Carolyn White. I'm candidate for Lorain County Commissioner, and I've met all of you trustees, and Dave and I had a little conversation outside about data centers that we're against. So just be on the record to know that I am against data centers and mega sites. So I just come to hear what's going on in Amherst. Met Ryan, and I'm not sure I met you yet. Kevin, nice to meet you. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for stopping by, Carolyn. Nothing, no one else in the audience, nothing else come before the board. We'll move on. Correspondence and announcements. I don't have anything to bring forward at this time. Do you have anything, Jeremy, at this time?
Not really a correspondence. I just wanted to ask you guys on the finances. When we look at, 12 different line items on here, I'm assuming, everything, cemetery, roads and bridges all accounted for. With our general fund, is there, with $3 million in there, is there like a goal we have? Is that like where we want to be? Are we trying to, is it too much? Is it not enough? Or, I just am curious as far as like, what's our goal for the general fund? I know that's a broad question.
Do you want me to answer that, David, or do you want to answer that?
Well, at this time, we're letting it build up. Projections into the future projected to go down.
Okay.
And we'll see what the future's going to bring as far as revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of, how do we want to, we're a bit, I won't say that we're on a stop, but we're on a bit of a defensive. We don't know what's going to happen with the property tax issues. So there's a little bit of that. But as far as large projects, we're paying the general fund, the administrative costs for the township. Benefits and wages, they keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, trying to get ahead of the power curve.
Generally
But,
in good shape, though, you would say?
We're okay shape.
Okay.
We're okay shape. It's in the general fund, and you may need more on the road, but it's in the general fund. And it's there, but it's not necessarily where you need it the most all the time.
We're in the best shape we've ever been in.
Okay.
We've been in the past where we had a fiscal officer even announced during a meeting we had to lay somebody off. But realize our general fund probably comes in the neighborhood of, it varies, but, 847 under $850,000 a year. So even we've got over years here.
Okay.
The biggest contributor to that was the ARPA funds. And the reason we received that, and the initial was 602,000, and we received some residuals later from organizations that either didn't accept them or didn't use them all. And it came back to us. What the Treasury did, the U.S. Treasury, as we went through and the ARPA funds were given out, they said any community that received less than 10 million, which we were way under,
Mm-hmm.
was not, they could use it for any expense. We did not have to use it for the categories that were spelled out as a result of the COVID pandemic. So that's exactly what we did. So all the salaries of personnel, any other expense, we had to use the ARPA funds first. We spent that down to zero, which meant we got to keep all the other funds in there. And the general fund, even by the name general, is the only fund we can use to make up when there's a shortfall in any of the other funds.
Okay.
So we've never been this good. And as David pointed out, we still don't know what's going to happen with this vote on property taxes, which is our number one source of funds in the township. Obviously, if there's no property taxes, we might be able to carry on a year, and we're out of business.
Right.
There won't be any fire. There won't be any ambulance. We'll probably tell people, go bury your loved ones somewhere else. We're not going to be able to bury them. Our roads will probably initially go to all chip and seal. May have to let a few big holes go in the concrete areas or fill what we can. May even put overlays of asphalt. Anything that lowers the cost. We'll probably close the yard waste down. May have to give up on some of the park activities that are there and just say, you know, we're not going to be cutting grass for baseball and soccer and our youth football leagues. Just have to give it up. That'll carry us through a year, and at that point in time, if between the state and the county, whatever decision they make is the way we go. Or this group has to decide, do they become a city? We're large enough to be a city. Do we say, does that give enough revenue, though? Because once you do that, you're no longer sharing services. So you get your own law director, your police force, you know, your fire department, you know, there's a lot of things to be considered. Representative Dieter at the last Lorraine County Township Association meeting just last Thursday, she was unable to attend, but she sent written notice, and all the information they have so far for the group that's leading the Axe the Tax for property tax, which is headquartered in Lake County, is that it appears they do not have enough signatures to get it on the ballot for this November.
Okay.
But there is no limit to how long they can keep collecting signatures for the same issue. So it'll just push it out to the next election. And they're not announcing how many signatures they have. Who the heck knows what that, you know, what they've got. I think, what is it, David? It's over 800. How many signatures do they need in terms of thousands of
I
signatures?
don't
They need a
know.
certain portion from half of the counties, so 44 counties. They've also got to get that distributed. And I certainly wouldn't want to be the person that has to verify those signatures. Because the longer they take in gathering these, the more people have moved, relocated, passed on, you know, all sorts of things can go off. So, you know, it's a tough sell, and I don't know, I have my opinion what will probably happen if that gets on. First off, I think the voters will vote it down. I think they'll realize this doesn't make any sense. There's no replacement, and immediately you'd have to find the revenue to pay for those services somewhere. And I don't expect the state is going to increase income taxes since they've been pushing to reduce income taxes. I suspect they're going to push it back to the counties and say, you guys all handle it locally. And we'll go ahead and allow you decide what you want to increase your sales tax to. And we're probably going to be looking at somewhere upwards of anywhere from 12 to 20% on every single purchase. And then most likely the peripheral counties that adjoin a neighboring state, they're going to be in a hurt because they'll want to keep it down. Otherwise, people just cross the border to buy their stuff cheaper. So, I mean, this whole thing, it just becomes a mess.
Right.
So we're in good shape
Okay.
as far as the general fund, but that, that fills the holes elsewhere when we need it. But we have never been in this type of shape. And that is, with some real frugal spending over this time. I think as you get used to the way the budgets are done, particularly on the annual basis, when we're looking at adjustments, you'll see where that comes from.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, that's, no other questions? Moving along. Correspondence, do you have anything under correspondence, Neil?
No, David.
I have nothing, as I said, to bring forward. Reports, ambulance service, do we have anything under ambulance service to
Nope, I
bring
gave the
forward?
report for our last meeting. I will cover ambulance and fire later, though, under the trustees' reports.
Okay, that should be, the next ambulance district meeting is scheduled for sometime in August.
Right, that'll be called, the fire chief will put out some dates and make sure that a quorum can be present.
The sheriff's department, we have no one in attendance from the sheriff's department. Fire prevention officer, he's not present. Zoning inspector, Ryan Valentin.
Yes. So year-to-date, we have 96 total permits, 64 are new construction. KHOV has 38 of those. Ryan Holmes has 25 of those. Our park fee for this year-to-date, is $16,000. And total permit collected year-to-date is $103,790.16. I gave you guys the maps earlier of as far as the next meeting for the zoning commission. That will be on June 2nd at 6:30. It is a 11 sublotted development requesting to go in. So all the paper was just submitted to me yesterday, so we're still going through all of that, but I did want to give you guys your copy so you guys can see what's going on. And that's all I got.
So that'll just be a site plan review since it meets the existing zoning.
Yes.
Okay, so we had 28 total permits for May, 5 fence, 2 accessory buildings, 1 pool, 9 signs, 1 addition, and 10 new construction so far, correct?
Yes.
All right. 96 permits year to date. May. All right, next item. Roads, parks, and cemeteries. Mr. Schmarsh.
All I have to report is we had a round of roadside mowing, and that all went well, but we still have a couple of the larger guardrails we still need to whip. But other than that, that went real well. And I also wanted to mention that Becky Ames from Otarma was in last Tuesday and did the insurance evaluation with Linda and I, and that went real well. There's a couple of little nitpicky things down at the park that I need to take care of, and I've already made the calls on it, but she was real pleased with everything that was going on around here. And we're busy mowing, we're onto the potholes, we're about to start doing some crack sealing, and we have a couple of catch basins, at least tops and readjustments that we are going to get to here in the next probably 2 weeks down in Hidden Valley. That's all I have.
We already used up all the mini grant funds for this year.
Yeah, for the OPWC.
Do we have word yet from the county engineer on the bids for Wood Lane?
Yes, I received them back, and Dennis Concrete is the official bid winner.
Okay. So it will be Dennis. Okay. Okay, as soon as we get a official word back from them, then we can, at the
Yeah,
next meeting, pass a resolution awarding the bid.
Yep. Yep, everything can't happen until after July 1st anyway, but,
Yeah,
yep.
because you've got those funds in there. Yes. All right, let's see what else we have here. Trustee reports. Jeremy, do you have anything to bring before the board at this time?
Nothing significant, just a couple things behind the scenes I'm working on, but I don't have any major updates at this time.
And Neil, do you have anything to bring forward at this time?
I do, David, and if you look in your packet, I mentioned the ambulance and fire I'd be covering later, and Georgianne also has it displayed up at the top, but you should have, are you finding it?
Not really.
You found yours, right,
Yep.
Jeremy?
Oh, here it is, here it is.
Okay. During the May 12th, 2026 Board of Trustee meeting, I reported that the first quarter of 2026 fire and EMS costs were much higher than average. As the reports had been received just a few days prior to the May 12th trustee meeting, I indicated that I hadn't had a chance to review the specific incident reports. I had discussed it with our fiscal officer, and I asked Chris, I'd let her know I was going to bring it up at the last meeting, and that to hold off the payment till I had a chance to meet with Amherst Fire Department Chief Demakia. I did try to set that up. Chief Demakia, though, was on duty with his other job at Bay Village, and the soonest he thought he could meet would have been today, but he said if that didn't happen, perhaps tomorrow. Well, we obviously didn't meet today. But I did put together a spreadsheet to analyze the information that we received in that report. I had sent that off to Chief Demakia. Now, the one he received, I've since then done updates and additions to it, but I wanted him to get the at least the one out of the block. So I'll get him the updated report later on this so that we can review this. But the net effect, if you look up here, there were all sorts of comments made at the last meeting, which I think you realized I was frustrated because the comments were not being made as a result of reviewing data and facts. And by now you know I'm a data and facts person. Well, here, if you look at the summary that you've got in front of you right now, is EMS calls. And realize our fire personnel, our first responders going out at the same time when there's a 911 call with life care. And several of those reports, they were there before life care, one of them even involving advanced life support, not just basic life support when they were called. And of those calls for EMS, 92 calls in the first quarter of 2026. That happened to be since the information I had easily available to me from quarter 4 of 2020, so 6 years worth of data. That happened to be the highest number of EMS calls we ever received. And there's no way that, that's just the fact. It's a variable item. It was the highest number of calls. Prior to that, if you look at the data that's available to you, the highest number we had prior to that was 79 calls back in quarter 2 of 2022. The median number of calls, including that 92 outlier, which kind of skews the data somewhat, but the median was 48.5. Where it skews it is in the average. It puts the average number of EMS calls at 53.7 per quarter. The minimum was 25, and again, this quarter the max was 92. The next column you'll looked at fire responders. This is where it's not medical, it's real fire issue. And realize when we say EMS, all motor vehicle accidents are treated as EMS. You'll see there's two odd ones in here because they were two car fires, so they didn't impact a tree, pole, or another vehicle. The car caught on fire. So those, the fire department didn't categorize it EMS, that was a fire call. But for the fire response that we had out, we had 48 calls for fire service in that quarter. Again, the highest we've had since Q4 of 2020. So that justifies as far as the fire calls, and if you look again, the median is 20.5, the average 22.8, the minimum is 12. So we are more than double the median and the average both in terms of fire calls. Total, if you total EMS and fire, obviously this is the highest again since Q4 of 2020 at 141 runs, where our median is 75, average is 78 or 76.5. So almost double what we normally get. That's the real cause for this outlier, if you will, in terms of quarterly costs, which was approximately $30,000 over the average that we would see per quarter. Your question is going to be, why? Why do we have so many calls? Well, and can you go to the next page that shows the pie chart? This just to put it, where do we even begin the analysis? Well, you can see the somewhat blue and purple. To the left is the fire segment, to the right is the EMS segment. The green, that's a fixed cost that we have to pay per quarter regardless of run. So that stays the same. The little small sliver, that's fire inspections. So since we know this is a fixed cost, there's no analysis there, and fire inspections being such a small percentage, no need to look at fire inspections. Can you go to the next chart? This just gives you a visual representation as far as a comparison in history between the first quarter of 2026 versus the past. And if you notice in this, same thing, you can see the blue line, which is the EMS, highest ever, and the red, it's tough since I use a stack bar chart here, is the red is actually the highest number of fire, but the total you see it just sticks out like a sore thumb there. All right, if you go to the next page. Okay, what I tried to do is categorize these, and with these fire calls, you have to look at every single incident. And I went to the fire because that's the one that on a per call basis is really the highest. As a matter of fact, on the first page I'd given you before, on the cost per fire service run for this quarter is over $1,000, whereas EMS was $372 per incident. So I wanted to focus in on the fire. Well, when you start going through the incidents, you just open up every single run, put it in a category, what is it? I first had wires down, I had trees down, I had arcing, and it's like, that's all the same. Every time a tree comes down, it's pulling the wires down. So, or it's a tree that's hitting a wire or a transformer, and it's only when the wind blows, it's arcing, which when there's those heavy storms, it's blowing a lot and hitting those. Well, if you look at the tick marks that are in there, you notice that, and I did it, how do you organize this so it's easy? I did it by the page of the incidents as the fire department sends it to us, and you get 5 incidences per page. Now the last page, item 10, in this case, there's only 4 tick marks because there are only 4 reports. But if you look at that, you notice there's a grouping of them in 2 groups of a lot of tick marks. Anybody remember the storms we had in March? Big windstorms, trees coming down. One of them fell on a house that's still missing a roof over in Amherst. Well, when those trees come down, that's where you see the arcing, that's where you see the wires down. Now, several of these wires down were communication wires, so it wasn't a danger. Might be a nuisance, not a danger, but when people call 911, they don't know the difference. All they know is that a wire is down, and it's down across the road. So who do they call? They're calling 911. They don't know, well, do I call cable? Do I call a phone? Do I call Ohio Edison? Who do I call? They just call 911. And when the fire department goes out, they're not going to work for free. And the worst is when it's a real electrical line, which we had down, and Kevin, you were even noted, your crew in one of them, because you got to put blockades out there because it was a real power line that was down. And that's a danger to people. We've had in Lorain County, we've had a young fireman that died that ran in to help on a power line down from an accident. He died. So this isn't something to trifle about. But that's 15, when you do the Pareto analysis on these categories, the vast majority were wires down, trees down, or arcing. Majority of those caused during those storm events. This is not going to be the norm in every quarter. We just had some significant storm events this March. The next largest category is smoke alarms. We had 9 smoke alarms, which cost us $5,000 for personnel going out there. Of those 9, only 1 was legit. 1, and it was so small, their meter at first didn't read it, and they ended up finding a gas leak in the gas line going to the stove. The others were all false alarms. Generally when people were cooking. As a matter of fact, when I looked into it, 5 were the same residents in this quarter. 5 of them.
Bill them for it.
Yeah, it's like, and that one household cost almost $2,100 in the quarter. You know, I think that's where you either got to relocate your smoke alarm or change your battery or get a different type. I will discuss that with Brandon, but again, this is just one, is, you know, what do we do in a case like this where we're going out to the same place? And I'm sure, I don't know about you, Jeremy, do they still do the Boy Cried Wolf story in 2nd grade?
I'm familiar.
You know, we don't want to not respond.
Can't.
You know?
Yeah.
Because the day you decide not to respond is the day it's going to be real. But that was the 2nd largest category. And you can see like these odors, electrical, chemical, well, some of them were electrical burning, they smell. So they got to go out and find out what is it. A couple of these odors were, you know, some chemical compound that they couldn't locate. Beyond that, outdoor burning, 5 of them. Well, this is neighbors calling or somebody driving by that sees smoke. And some of it was open burning of rubbish that a person shouldn't. The fire department put it out. One of them, when they got there, the person had a little fire ring, clean wood in it, no problem found. But when someone calls 911 and says they see a fire and they give the location, you got to go. You know, it's 911 can't be sitting there and saying, well, can you drive back there and see, is it a campfire going on? What's happening? Somebody just driving by sees smoke. I'm sure, David, you'll remember we have someone with a wood burner up on Middle Ridge. And we've had calls for the fire department up there because people see smoke coming out in the wintertime, not realizing he's got a wood burner, but it's out of the house, and he's an engineer that routed it through and knows how to do the heat exchange to heat his house. But unfortunately, if people see smoke, they think there's fire and they're calling 911. So the net effect is I try to categorize these things, but you can see those storm events cause the inordinate amount or out of the norm number of fire calls going on. And you can see by the tick marks exactly where those were. You want to go to the next pie chart? Okay, this pie chart here, and this is where I mentioned it could be confusing because the fire department categorized 17 as motor vehicle accidents, but there were 2 additional ones, so a total of 19. But those 2 additional were just car fires. Now, I did give you a separate document in here, if I can find mine, that shows the cost of motor vehicle accidents. And, okay, because that I got subsequent to this. We had, of those 17 that were actually impingement motor vehicle accidents, $12,827. But again, you have to respond. Life Care's called, they go too. But Life Care does not have the tools to get in a car if that car is bashed in and doors need to be pried open and people need to be pulled out. Or if it was of such an intensity that the person stuck, squeezed in just because of the dash or something else. Cars are designed now to minimize those that pin people in there with the crush design from the front, but it still can happen. The other issue is they sometimes need additional people because believe it or not, when there's a car accident, it's not always just one car. There may be more than one person that needs help. And if you send out one ambulance, it's not going to cut it. So the fire personnel are there to help. But this is the one I pointed out that the Sandstone Joint Ambulance District recognizes this, and we're looking at whether we can get cost recovery from auto insurance. I think it was 8 to 10% when we had looked at the history of people, believe it or not, though they signed that affidavit saying they have auto insurance, really don't carry it. So you won't get it from everybody, but that is the intent. The city of Amherst has already passed, which I had pointed out at the last meeting, legislation to begin that process. But at this, the village of South Amherst, which is part of our ambulance district, they just passed a resolution to investigate it. We decided after talking it over with Amherst, we want to hold off, see what their experience is in terms of collection, what the cost is, because they're going to pay a third party to collect it, and as the cost benefit makes sense to even go into this, because if it's costing you, $10,000, if it's $10,000, bring back 12, maybe it's worth it, and to put up with the angst of people being upset about that. But it costs you $20,000 to get $12,000, we're not going to do it.
Right.
So we want to see what the result is. But I will still be meeting with Chief Damaki on this. But I just want to dispel all those comments that were made at the last meeting without evidence. And this took a lot of time going through this. I've said if anyone wants to meet with the chief when I meet with them, they're welcome to tag along, but I'm not going to allow it to delay when we can get together to meet. Realize though, if one of the trustees wants to come, we've got to, set things up so that if it's either an actual meeting or get the prosecutor's okay, it's just information sharing. I'd really like to talk with Brandon, because realize the city of Amherst is seeing these same costs. Theirs are going to be more than double what we're seeing. You think they don't have an incentive to try and contain these costs? But I just wanted to make sure that everybody's comfortable with where this is. You may not like it, but it is the cost of doing business, particularly in a service where you're dealing with lives. So that's really all I've got on the fire and ambulance. I don't know if anyone's got any questions on that.
No, thank you. That was a thorough analysis and, pretty straightforward explanation, really. We had bad storms.
At this time, you haven't set a meeting yet with Demakia.
Brandon will be calling me, and I'm assuming it's going to be tomorrow, but I'm going to tell Chris this needs to be paid. It needs to be paid. I've made copies of every single incident there, because there are also comments made about a particular incident, things being absurd. Well, you've got copies now. I want people, if they really think one is off, point to it. I'll make sure that's brought up, but I've been through them. There's some that are frustrating, but I don't know what else you do different. There may be some training at the 911 center, but still don't know if that can be done. We'll talk that over with the chief. I know that during the ambulance board meetings, there have been discussions about, how things might be handled better at 911 center so that they know when they're dispatching, who to send and what to send. But right now, if you get limited information, time's of the essence, people are going.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, with that, then I'll go on to stormwater then, David, which is assigned to me. We're still awaiting the Board of Commissioners' decision on the Quarry Creek project. That has been recommended by the Stormwater Advisory Committee. I know Don Romankak said just last Thursday they haven't gotten it on the Commissioner's agenda yet. I don't know what it takes to get it on and when that'll happen.
Okay.
As far as roads and ditches, I was expecting Kevin might bring this up in his report, if you recall, we joined the county engineer for a countywide bid on chip and seal road projects. Last year we determined we could wait another year. Kevin had put in for Tina Lane, Rice Court, Horniak, and Erie Court. the, they have all of those resurfaced with chip and seal. The county opened the bids on May 12th. Melway Paving was the low bidder. County engineer indicated they plan on recommending Melway Paving to the Board of Commissioners. Now it's just a matter of getting it on the commissioners' agenda. They expect within 30 to 60 days. Don't know why it takes so long, but that's what it is, that the county commissioners will approve this. The Melway, though, will have to get the projects done by September, because that's what was in the original bid spec. You should have received the email that had the bids go out, and this is about, I think is around $1,000 less than the engineer's original bid. Ours came in at roughly just under $14,000 at $13,800 to resurface those roads. Again, this is chip and seal. We're talking 6 years, depending on where it is. It might go 8, 10, but for the most part, about every 6 years is what you typically look at, assuming the base is good. And I don't know, Kevin, if you had any base repair to do on any of those roads.
I have a small base repair. I'm halfway in between. It's filled with stone right now where we dug out on Rice Court. That's about,
Okay.
that's ready to be asphalted. You know,
Okay,
the
good.
patch.
But you'll have it all ready to go then.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and then the engineer cautions that they put an estimate in on stone, which they're buying separate. And it depends how much your project might have, you know, and some of them are, even one of our roads, they did it based on GPS. They didn't go out and actually measure the road width. But that's usually pretty accurate. Okay, and then on, that's it for roads. Then on complaints, we did receive a complaint through the webpage from Steve Zimmerman at 6260 South Dewey Road. Mr. Zimmerman had 2 issues, one that we can take care of, and I've already spoken with Kevin. He's aware of it. And I don't know, Kevin, if you want to discuss that, or you want me to explain our conversation? Okay, essentially it's, if you know where Dewey heading up to North Ridge, as you're heading north, is on a steep incline. So the side of the berm, where we have berm material, is going to wash out, and it does. And then people cut it close, particularly since the city of Amherst put that left turn lane in to address the new Quarry Creek development. When they cut through there, you know, you get between acceleration of tires or stopping of vehicles. Oh, the chief's calling right now, but I'll have to call him later. Maybe he's watching, I don't know. He didn't like the report, or he liked the report, I don't know. But Mr. Zimmerman's indicated that vehicles are actually bottoming out now. So Kevin's going to actually put some hard cold patch in there that'll hold up better, and he's done this in the past. I think he was really hoping that the city, there must have been some discussion about finishing that off when they widen the road for the turn lane in that area. But Kevin will get that taken care of probably pretty quick in his normal routine, and Mr. Zimmerman will actually see that. The second part he's got is the creek that drains from Hidden Valley and then enters into the one of the tributaries to Beaver Creek on the east side and runs down through Rock Creek Run. He happened to be on a corner where that washes through and undermines the land. And if you go over there, you'll see it's washing away, and he's worried about his garage eventually falling in. So he's just asking that the township evaluate that condition and what can be done. He believes some of it is lack of maintenance on the creek. It's really when water comes rushing through in those storm events, it's going to eat away at those banks, especially if you're going through a turn. The difficulty is with the steep drop-off in the location, it's not going to be an easy work zone and how you get in there. Kevin's done some repairs even on our road for the guardrail where it's getting washed out. So this is not going to be a low-cost solution. But I just asked Kevin as he's over there working to get some photos. I'm going to send them to the county stormwater engineer to see what their recommendations are and see if they'll meet with Mr. Zimmerman. We've had other stormwater projects where we can leverage funds where the township can't contribute because it's not impacting our road, but the residents can and receive additional grant funding. But the difficulty here, you're talking one person. It'd be different if you had a group of people and they're all going in, because then they're just contributing a smaller portion. But the second issue he has is going to be the toughest one. You know, and I equate this is similar to the people that live up on Lake Erie that are losing their land. You know, but they usually have a much easier solution. They throw old concrete spoils out in the lake to try and reduce the erosion. There's no real easy way to get there, and you can't block the creek itself up, because now you're going to be causing problems for people upstream. And, you know, now it'll be between one person that's getting land washed away versus a whole bunch of people living down Hidden Valley. They're having water back up in their storm sewer, since that's what they drain into.
Is the garage in a floodplain?
I would suspect not, David, because there's probably, that's at least a 20-foot drop from the land to the creek bed, and he's up on the rise. But I didn't check that, but
Which corner is he on? Is he on the?
Southwest.
Southwest corner. All right.
yeah, ultimately, we're going to see if the engineer will get out there and give him some recommendations of what can be done.
That's also on the ridge, and I wouldn't doubt that a lot of that ground is sand. It wouldn't take as much to erode sand as it would to erode clay.
Yeah, it didn't appear to be clay surface, but didn't appear to be sand either. It appeared to be loamy soils.
So it's a looser soil, and that would erode away quicker than other soils. I'll talk with, kind of look at it.
And if you can take care of the one issue, we can do that.
Yeah.
The other one, we're going to have the county engineer look at. And specifically, since it's dealing with stormwater, is on the stormwater issue. If there's anything that can be done to help him, if nothing else, at least give him some guidance as to what he can do or can't do. But he's going to be in a tough situation getting to that, you know, whether he's in our right-of-way or even on his land, because I wouldn't want to be driving equipment over that edge and dropping stuff. I can just see loading up a bucket with that heavy weight. Boy, you'd have to have an awful big counterweight on to keep your equipment from going over the edge.
Where's the pavement a problem at? Is that up on North Ridge, or is that on Dewey
More
Road?
on Dewey. So, but it's just as you come off, I mean, it's just like the edge of any pavement. You know, if people keep going through, one, you're on an incline, so you get the natural washing away through heavy rain events. But now if you have vehicles constantly going through it, I mean, you see any corner, you know, any truck, and we get heavy trucks down there, you know, semis coming down. You know, somebody cuts the corner, you see what happens. There's big divots. Well, this one's got a big divot. Now he says the cars are bottoming out. I'm sure they're the low-riding cars, but we'll get that repaired. That's not the major issue. The one that's going to be more difficult is where his garage is. And so we'll see if the county stormwater engineer can get over there and give him some recommendations of how he might be able to handle it. Okay? And lastly I did send information out to you guys on NOPEC. We have $6,758 in grant funds available that must be spent by November of this year. And as of right now, Kevin's already had to take down, and this happened through one of those storm events where a large branch fell on a person's property on Taylor Street. They realized they were responsible for that, but their concern was this tree was rotting out in the right-of-way. Well, the way the statutes are written, we have to take care of that. Kevin's already had the tree taken down. That is an eligible expense as long as we're replacing the tree canopy. It doesn't have to be in the same position. We can put a tree anywhere. Or we can just let one stop cutting grass in a certain area, put a little fence around it, and let it grow natural, which is probably the easiest thing to do. But in any case, that's going to be the thing. Kevin had some additional trees he wanted to take down. He thought he might hold off till next year. I'm going to leave that up to Kevin. as to how to handle this, and Linda's watching the money on this, because the next one, it appears they probably lean toward is possibly adding electrical outlets to one of the pavilions. You know, and then we do have some lighting still remaining, not much, but we have a few lights that we pay for that we could convert to LED lighting. So that's the end of my report, David.
All right. I have nothing further to add under a trustee report at this time. Looking on a couple of streetlights that are out, and aside from that, nothing really to bring up under solid waste, except that moving along in the planning process, there is concern at the county about the waiver, continuing the waiver program for solid waste taken out of the district. That is, it allows for competition rather than requiring them to use the landfill in Oberlin and pay whatever Republic would ask of them. So that's being negotiated as part of the host community agreement, and that should come before the commissioners. I believe June 2nd. Is that the,
That's correct.
Is that the date?
Yep.
I recall. You help me on that. And so, aside from that, I have nothing to further report. Anything else? Anything under complaints and corrective action? My only question would be to Ryan. Did we ever get an answer on that one complaint on Bechtel Road with the shed?
Yes, the resident is now in compliance.
Okay, he's in compliance. Okay, so that one's done. All right. Anything else, foolish or otherwise? I'm looking at.
Do we have to address these other complaint forms, or is that something Ryan will take care of?
We can. What do we got here? What do we got here?
I got my copies if you need to see them, David. They just came in today.
Where am I? Mine are in the packet. It was showing my packet.
You want me to read them?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So there's one about an empty lot next to a house. No one's maintaining the lawn. Their son has mowed it 4 times, and other neighbors talked to the owners, and nothing has been done. This
That's
is
on Allendale Drive.
Allendale, correct. I'm assuming these are all things you got to go take care of, Ryan?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll have to review those and do my investigation and see what's going on.
Okay, so they just came in today, so.
Anything else? Otherwise, there's one on Bechtel Road, the one on Allendale, and then the one complaint that you received.
Well, that one we all received.
We all received,
That
but
came
that you
through the
covered. Let me
website.
rephrase that. The one that you covered.
Yeah,
so.
there were 3 of them that just came in today.
One is about standing water on Rosedale.
I'll take care of that.
Okay. And then one is that somebody parking vehicles, this is on Levitt Road, and blocking their view so they can't pull out.
That's.
I don't know if is that really our jurisdiction if somebody's parking?
Parking can be,
Do you see
don't
this one,
regulate
Ryan?
parking on the road in that area. We don't regulate it. You're under state law, and state law says that the parking right away for up to 72 hours without moving it. As far as keeping a vehicle continuously in a driveway,
I would have to do
there,
more
that would be
investigating
something
on
under
that.
zoning, whatever the zoning allows as far as parking a vehicle or not, that's where it would be, that's where that would be covered. I'm looking at right now, unless I know otherwise. Something, refer it to Ryan and,
Yeah, I'll have to do
Have
more
you-
research. I'm not sure. I mean, the complaints of someone saying he's always parked there or the car's always, that's not always the case. So we'll have to do our due diligence and just see what's going on, and if we can assist, we'll assist. If not, it'll be a civil matter.
Okay.
all righty. All right. Those are the complaints. Nothing further under complaints. Unfinished business, do we have anything under unfinished business that, Jeremy,
Not
Gail, you
unfinished.
would like to touch upon?
No.
Okay. New business, I have none. Nothing further to come before the board. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Here at the Amherst Township Hall. Is there anything else to come before the board? Last call. There's nothing else to come before the board. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, motion by Lynch,
Second.
second by Watson. Roll call. Lynch,
Yes.
Watson,
Yes.
Urick, yes. And we are at 8:02.